the sight of Göbekli Tepe really did send shockwaves through the whole world of early prehistory, because we'd never before known or imagined even that simple hunter-gatherers could produce such spectacular monumental structures.
This is the oldest temple unearthed anywhere on this planet.
Beneath the towering stone circles of Göbekli Tepe, a sealed chamber lay untouched for more than 10,000 years, until now. When researchers finally broke the silence and stepped inside, it felt like crossing a doorway into deep prehistory. Archaeologists froze in disbelief as an ancient, sacred world emerged before them, a place no human eyes had seen since the dawn of civilization. The carvings, the symbols, the overwhelming stillness, all whispered secrets powerful enough to challenge everything we think we know about our origins. Join us as we uncover what was hidden inside this mysterious structure, built by some of the earliest humans to ever walk the earth. Nearly 12,000 years ago, on a lonely hill in what is now southeastern Turkey, a massive and enigmatic stone complex was raised, the world's first known temple, and perhaps the key to a forgotten chapter of human history. This place is known as Göbekli Tepe. Here, ancient people arranged enormous stone pillars into large, circular formations. What makes this site so astonishing is when it was built. At the time, humans were still hunter-gatherers. They hadn't developed farming, and they didn't live in permanent towns or cities. And yet, they somehow carved, transported, and raised massive stone pillars on top of a hill. This alone sets Göbekli Tepe apart from anything else we know from that era. It proves that long before agriculture began, humans already possessed the organization, planning, and shared beliefs needed to create something truly monumental. Göbekli Tepe stands on a limestone plateau about 15 kilometers northeast of the modern city of Sanliurfa in southeastern Turkey, a silent reminder that advanced human cooperation began far earlier than we ever imagined. On this plateau, ancient builders raised unique T-shaped stone pillars, some standing as tall as 5.5 meters. These pillars were arranged in circular formations surrounded by low walls or stone benches, creating what archaeologists refer to as enclosures. Many of the pillars are decorated with carvings, images of wild animals and abstract symbols etched into their broad surfaces. These details suggest that Göbekli Tepe was not an ordinary settlement. Instead, it feels far more like a place designed for special gatherings, rituals, or ceremonial events. For many years, archaeologists believed that large structures and temples only appeared after humans began farming, settled into villages, and had the extra time and resources to build monumental architecture. Göbekli Tepe challenges that assumption entirely, but Göbekli Tepe completely overturns that idea. The people who built this site were not farmers. They moved from place to place, hunting animals and gathering wild plants without raising crops or livestock. And yet, the sheer size of the stones, the complexity of the design, and the precision of the carvings all point to an enormous shared effort. It required many people working together, careful coordination, and long-term planning. This tells us that even without agriculture, these early communities had social structures strong enough to create monumental architecture. That realization turns our traditional story of how civilization began upside down. Because of this, many scholars now believe Göbekli Tepe may be the world's earliest known temple or ritual center, older than any other major religious or ceremonial structure we've discovered. The stone enclosures and carved pillars were likely used for gatherings, rituals, or large feasts, bringing together people from different groups at special moments in time. Some experts believe the site served as a pilgrimage center, a place where people gathered to share beliefs, traditions, and perhaps to honor ancestors or unseen spirits. What makes this even more remarkable is not just what Göbekli Tepe reveals, but what it doesn't show. Despite its massive and impressive stone enclosures, archaeologists have found no traces of everyday life. There are no ordinary houses, no hearths for cooking, and no trash pits that usually appear in permanent settlements from that time. There is no clear evidence that the builders lived there year-round. Instead, the site appears to have been used only occasionally, likely during special gatherings when different groups came together. Even so, these hunter-gatherer communities managed extraordinary feats of stone transport, carving, and organization. This alone shows that early forager societies were far more socially complex than we once believed. Göbekli Tepe is crucial to our understanding of human history. It pushes the origins of advanced architecture and symbolic thinking back by thousands of years. Long before farming, cities, or even pottery existed, humans were already planning, building, carving, and creating. The site suggests that shared belief, spirituality, community, and cooperation may have come first, laying the foundation for civilization itself even before settled agriculture began. All of this suggests that our understanding of how civilization began may need to be rewritten. Instead of farming coming first, belief and ritual may have come earlier, followed by settlement and agriculture. Göbekli Tepe could represent one of the very first chapters in the story of human civilization. The craftsmanship found at the site is just as astonishing. Using only simple tools, the builders carved enormous limestone pillars by hand, transported them, and set them into carefully planned arrangements. Some researchers believe the layout of the enclosures follows geometric principles, possibly triangles or other deliberate shapes, revealing an early understanding of geometry and spatial planning. Achieving this level of architectural sophistication without metal, modern tools, or advanced technology speaks volumes about the skill, creativity, and cooperation of these early people. Today, Göbekli Tepe stands as powerful evidence of human ingenuity and shared belief. It continues to attract researchers, historians, and curious minds from around the world. Most importantly, it challenges long-held ideas about when and how humans shifted from small, wandering groups into organized societies. It invites us to rethink the past, suggesting that humans may have become spiritual and socially connected long before they became farmers. Perhaps belief was what first brought people together, and only later did agriculture, villages, and full civilizations emerge. Göbekli Tepe serves as a bridge to our distant past, a time when humans dared to build, to imagine, and to search for meaning long before history was ever written. In recent years, archaeologists working at Göbekli Tepe have carried out detailed studies and careful excavations that have reshaped how the site is understood. Layer by layer, they moved through the soil, gently brushing away ancient dust to reveal details that had remained hidden for thousands of years. As they examined the monumental enclosures, their work opened new paths of research and introduced fresh ideas about early human life. These efforts brought global attention back to this ancient hill, where stone pillars, carvings, and buried walls continue to reveal just how complex early societies may have been. During these excavations, researchers made an unexpected discovery. They uncovered a life-size human statue placed horizontally within a wall between two major structures known as Enclosure B and Enclosure D. Carefully clearing away the soil, the team revealed the statue's face, torso, and upper body, still lying in its original position. This remarkable find opened a new window into how early humans at Göbekli Tepe used imagery and symbolism, and how deeply meaning and representation were woven into this ancient sacred space. Until recently, Göbekli Tepe was known mainly for its towering stone pillars carved with animals and mysterious symbols. But the discovery of this single human figure revealed an entirely new side of the site's story. Experts studying the statue's placement quickly realized it was not there by accident. It had been deliberately set into the wall, becoming an intentional part of the structure itself. This led researchers to believe the figure may have served as an offering or held deep ritual significance. The statue was positioned as if it was meant to remain there permanently, embedded in stone and woven into the life of the enclosure. This discovery shifted attention toward how early builders incorporated human imagery into their symbolic architecture. It also prompted archaeologists to re-examine earlier structures, carefully checking buried walls for similar hidden features. At the same time, another unexpected development began to reshape ideas about life around Göbekli Tepe. Research teams surveying the surrounding slopes and outer areas used ground-based scanning technology to look beneath the surface. These scans revealed long, straight outlines buried in the soil, indicating that rectangular buildings once stood around the monumental stone circles. Unlike the round ritual enclosures, these structures followed a different design, suggesting that Göbekli Tepe was surrounded by spaces with entirely different purposes, adding yet another layer of mystery to this ancient site. Instead, these structures looked more like buildings used for everyday life, forcing researchers to rethink the idea that activity around the hill was limited only to ritual gatherings. As archaeologists followed the map traces, they began outlining possible building lines that may have belonged to long-lost domestic spaces. The rectangular patterns pointed to a broader settlement, spreading out around the monumental enclosures. This raised the possibility that people did not come to Göbekli Tepe only for ceremonies. They may have lived nearby or stayed for extended periods while taking part in ritual events. The outlines resembled rooms and simple building boundaries, suggesting that daily life, work, and ceremonial activity may have existed side by side. Researchers continued collecting soil samples, documenting architectural remains, and surveying exposed areas across the site. They focused on understanding how these rectangular structures were arranged along the slopes and how people may have organized their living spaces. As excavations continued, small fragments of stone debris and shaping tools were uncovered, likely leftovers from everyday craft activities. These finds strengthened the idea that life around Göbekli Tepe included tasks such as tool making, food preparation, and the shaping of stone for construction. As discoveries reshaped understanding of the site, teams stabilized damaged enclosures, lifting fallen stones and securing walls. This work opened access to older layers, revealing new construction phases and clearer evidence of how massive pillars and spaces were originally built. Archaeologists closely studied the human statue, documenting tool marks, proportions, and its deliberate placement facing outward. Nothing suggested collapse. The figure was clearly set as part of a larger symbolic plan. Ground-penetrating radar then revealed hidden shapes beneath the soil, hinting at buried walls and undiscovered enclosures. These findings suggest Göbekli Tepe is far larger and more complex than previously known. Years of careful digging followed until subtle changes in the ground appeared, rising and dipping in unnatural patterns. The team realized something massive still lay hidden below, waiting to be uncovered. As they cut deeper into the compacted soil, the hidden shape below became more defined. Additional equipment was brought in to carefully remove each layer without causing damage. Slowly, the earth peeled back like a long-buried memory. What first appeared to be just another simple space began to reveal itself as a deeper structure, prompting the team to slow down and examine every inch with extreme care. The sealed chamber had remained locked beneath the weight of time, untouched by anyone who had ever passed through the region. Carefully, The team cleared away the soil around the entrance, brushing aside layers of hardened dust that had gathered along its edges. With each gentle sweep, the outline of the chamber became clearer, and the feeling of approaching something truly ancient grew stronger among the group. The air around the site felt heavier as the team planned how to remove the next layer without causing a collapse or damaging the structure. The soil shifted occasionally as tools scraped the surface, sending small clouds of dust into the air. Still, the work continued. Stones were brushed clean, edges inspected, and loose earth slowly pulled away from the opening. Every movement mattered. The chamber had survived for thousands of years without disturbance, and even one careless action could cause irreversible damage. As the excavation moved deeper, the team installed guidelines, lighting, and supports to protect the fragile stonework. They worked carefully to avoid placing pressure on the ancient walls. Tension grew as they approached the sealed entrance, knowing they were closing in on one of the rarest spaces ever discovered at the site. When word of the find began to spread, additional experts were called in. Specialists arrived with scanners, drones, notebooks, and tools designed for the most delicate work. Space was reorganized, separate paths were set, and activity across the site increased. Soon, Göbekli Tepe was alive with movement as researchers from around the world gathered to witness the unfolding discovery. Nearby communities watched from outside the marked zone, sensing the growing significance of the moment. Journalists set up tents and lights, and with each passing day, the pressure surrounding the site continued to build. Still, the excavation team remained focused, steady in the midst of the noise and attention. They carefully removed the final layers of soil and prepared the area for the first opening in thousands of years. When the last traces of earth were brushed away and the chamber finally opened, the space inside slowly emerged under the glow of the lights, revealing a moment frozen in deep time. The room opened into a cold, silent stillness that had remained unchanged since the earliest chapters of human history. Every stone rested exactly where the builders had placed it, and every shadow revealed how the space had been shaped long ago. The team stepped through the entrance with extreme caution, allowing the air to settle as they carefully examined the walls and edges. Inside, the chamber carried an eerie sense of pause, as if time itself had stopped and waited for human presence to return. Even the most seasoned archaeologists slowed their steps, absorbing the details of a space that had remained sealed through countless ages and natural changes outside. Equipment was quickly but carefully arranged. Scanners, cameras, and precision tools were set up to document every corner before anything was touched. Laser lines swept across the walls, revealing carved forms hidden in the stone, while 3D cameras mapped the ceiling and floor. Dust samples were collected from the edges to understand how the chamber had remained sealed and protected for so long. As surfaces were gently brushed clean, shapes began to emerge from the shadows. Faint carvings slowly revealed themselves, showing that every part of the chamber had been placed with intention. Nothing appeared random. Each detail suggested purpose and meaning. Images from inside the chamber soon spread beyond the site, capturing attention around the world. People everywhere reacted to the discoveries coming from one of the oldest known ceremonial locations in human history, a belief system frozen in time. As the chamber revealed itself piece by piece, everyone present understood they were witnessing something extraordinary. This was not simply a hidden room beneath an ancient temple. It was a space perfectly preserved for thousands of years, its form and meaning left intact. What surprised the archaeologists most was its sheer size. They had expected a small storage space or a simple crypt, but instead found a chamber far wider and taller than imagined. The walls rose with careful craftsmanship, carved and arranged with clear planning and deliberate design. Every corner seemed to tell a story, waiting to be understood. Every shadow seemed meaningful, and every stone felt deliberately placed. The team moved slowly through the chamber, gently brushing away dust and allowing the light to fall across forms frozen in time for thousands of years. As they advanced deeper inside, the carvings on the walls began to come alive. Animals appeared everywhere, serpents winding across stone surfaces, foxes crouched in corners, boars and birds arranged in sequences that felt intentional, almost like stories carved in rock. Each engraving seemed positioned to draw the eye, guiding anyone who entered along a carefully planned path. Along the edges, geometric patterns formed lines and shapes that hinted at ritual or symbolic purpose. The researchers carefully traced each line with their hands and cameras, trying to understand whether these carvings represented maps, star patterns, or stories passed down through generations. Some designs were layered, showing signs of repeated work over time, as if each generation added its own mark without erasing what came before. This blending of old and new suggested a society that respected tradition while allowing space for change. Objects within the chamber were arranged with clear intention. Polished stone tools, bowls, and figurines were not scattered at random, but placed in ways that strongly suggested ceremonial use. Some figurines depicted human forms with exaggerated features, while others showed animals that may have held symbolic or spiritual meaning. Each item appeared carefully chosen for its material, shape, and significance. The craftsmanship stunned researchers far beyond what was ever expected from a hunter-gatherer society. These were not simple decorations, but objects filled with meaning and intention. Miniature stone pillars echoed the massive T-shaped monoliths outside, while carvings, niches, and artifacts were carefully arranged for ritual use. Traces of pigment showed the chamber was once vividly colored, turning it into a ceremonial stage rather than a simple room. Advanced scans revealed that carvings and objects aligned with sunlight during solstices and equinoxes, proving the builders understood celestial cycles and wove astronomy into sacred design. Every detail served a purpose. Dated to around 9600 BCE, Göbekli Tepe overturns the idea that complex architecture came only after farming. These people planned, organized, and cooperated on a massive scale, moving enormous stones without wheels or animals. Their art, symbolism, and engineering reveal a society far more advanced than once believed, one that thought deeply about ritual, time, and meaning long before written history began. The discovery of the sealed chamber is particularly significant because it may hold clues about hierarchy, rituals, or social practices, evidence showing that these humans organized themselves in far more complex ways than previously thought. Religion and spirituality appear closely intertwined with daily life. Repeated motifs, animal carvings, and the careful placement of artifacts all point to a deep investment in sacred practices. In fact, building Göbekli Tepe itself may have been an act of worship, strengthening social bonds and honoring forces beyond human control. The sealed chamber was likely the most sacred space at the site, reserved for ceremonies, initiations, or teaching spiritual knowledge. It stands as one of the earliest known examples of organized symbolic religion, long before written records existed. The ingenuity of the builders is evident in their engineering feats. They quarried and moved multi-ton stones, carved intricate designs, and arranged stable circular enclosures, all without modern tools. Marks and grooves on the stones suggest careful planning and an advanced understanding of architecture. Studying Göbekli Tepe, and especially this hidden chamber, challenges everything we thought about early humans. These hunter-gatherer societies were capable of monumental construction, symbolic thought, and complex ceremonial practices long before farming or cities emerged. The chamber provides a window into their intelligence, creativity, and vision. Every carving, artifact, and architectural choice reflects social organization, symbolic reasoning, and the human desire to create lasting meaning. By walking through the chamber, tracing its carvings, and cataloging its objects, archaeologists gain insight into a civilization whose sophistication far exceeds what was once imagined. It forces us to rethink the abilities of prehistoric humans and the origins of culture, art, and ritual. What do you think? How were these people able to build such detailed monuments so long ago? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe, and check out our other fascinating videos on the channel.